Hey everybody, welcome back. Alright, so I have already drilled all the holes that I'm going to drill for this part of the bench. I just wanted to kind of go over a few things, lessons learned, if you will, and we'll get on to finish making these dogs that I started. All right, so I had the forethought to locate my holes where they were not going to go into any screws, any metal or anything like that. But I came closer than I wanted to the leg support, the A-frame or H-frame. I actually touched it in a few spots, but you know, it is what it is. It's close, but it's not so close that I can't use a hold fast when I'm able to use a hold fast. What I mean by that is, I don't know, I may not be able to use this whole side, or these three holes anyway. I can't use these two, obviously, for obvious reasons, for a hold fast. I wouldn't want to anyway. These two holes, I can't use a hold fast because the actual vise, the casting that mounts to the bench, is right underneath these two holes. So they do not go all the way through, plus through the apron. This apron is way too long. I'm not going to drill a hole through the whole thing. It is 12 inches long, so I'm obviously not going to drill a hole all the way through it. So I just drilled it, and it's as long as this guy is, so 4 inches. So I got 4-inch deep holes here, and then all the rest of them go straight all the way through the bench. The problem with that is when it comes to using a hold fast, the way a hold fast is it goes through the hole, and I'll use the big one as an example, just so you can see it, but the way a hold fast works is you go down and say you wanted to hold that to the bench. Well, you would come down and it would essentially, you'd pound right here and it would kick up like this, right? The leg would kick out and it would wedge itself in and lock down this piece. In my case, I have a 3/4 inch hole and I have a hold fast that's just smaller than that. So when I go down on this, right, I can lock it. It locks everything in place, right? But when I go to place it in this guy that is 4 1/4 thick, right? So this is just over 2 inches. This is about 2 1/8. This is 4 1/4. So this is literally twice as thick as this is. Works great in this. It will not hold anything on this yet because the hole is too long. Should only be that tall, but it's that tall, right? So that's one drawback to a bench this thick. Can we fix it? Yes. I'm going to simply drill a hole that's larger from the bottom. I'm going to drill I figure a 1/2 inch overall diameter larger, so 1 1/4 inches. It's 3/4 inch hole here, so I'll drill 1 1/4 inch drill from the bottom, and that'll essentially make my my dog holes bench thickness to 1/8. once I drill it all the way through, or drill it half of the way up the hole. Because right now it just won't hold. Right? Watch. Nothing. It won't hold. So I got to fix that, and that will only be for these 6 holes right here. Now these holes are not designed for. These 10 holes right here are not designed at all for a holdfast. Holdfast holes are going to end up being in the middle and a couple over on the other side over here, on this side of the bench. I'm going to have a vise down here, which I'll have a system that comes up. I don't know if it'll go all the way up to here, but it probably will. These holes in here are going to be my main holdfast holes. So that's that. When it came to placement of these holes, you know, you can lay it out and do whatever you want to do. You can place little dowels or whatnot. Draw your lines, put where you want to mark it, or you can come up with a figure and say, okay, I want 4 inches on center or whatever. What I found, and you know me, I like to mock things up. I simply took a bunch of pennies that are consequently, or well, they're 3/4 inch, and I laid them out where I wanted them, right? And I thought, hey, that looks about right, and gives me good spacing for when I go to use my my vise to clamp this down, right? So that's a technique you can use, pennies, for laying out, well, not just for this, but for any hole, if you're not going to go with a standard measurement or anything. Now these are all the exact same amount, same width, and what I ended up doing was I drilled the first hole in the middle of one of these boards, and then, so this is board 1, this is board 2, this is board 3 and 4, and I drilled right in the middle of it, and then skipped and went right in the middle of this board, and then went right in between these. So these are in the middle of 2 boards, middle of the board, and these holes are in the middle of splitting up two boards, and that works good for my spacing. My spacing is about 3 5/8. That's what it ended up being, and they're all the same. I don't know if, yeah, this first one, well, it really doesn't matter because this is going to move, so it doesn't matter. But it's very close, as you can see. What I need to do right now, I've cut these dogs to length, but I need to finish sanding and get them ready to cut a little flat surface on them, so that we can clamp our work. Now, I do plan on turning these down a little bit and using a coat hanger spring system on here, but until I do that, I don't want them, you know, I don't have it, so I'm just going to sand them down a little bit and make them where they kind of slide in and out. Now these stick up just a hair, or about less than a ½ inch, I think, from the top of this chop, which should be sufficient. And just sanding it down lightly so that it'll slide in and out, because the 3/4 inch dowel and a 3/4 inch hole, well, you do the math. You're begging for it to get stuck. Plus, I mean, realistically right now, it's not going to be that big of a deal because it's hotter than it ever will be for the rest of the year right now. So everything will shrink from this moment forward. So it barely slides in. I'm going to take a little bit more off. And this is only until, and it's funny that, but I don't have a wire coat hanger. All my coat hangers are plastic. And I think that's fine. It actually gives me just a little bit of tension so that I can reposition it. But it's not so tight, but just a hair more. There, that'll be about perfect. Good to go. I want these to stick up from the bench top about 3/8, I think. So let me mark them and cut them. I think 3/8 will be, and I'm going to do these separately because these holes aren't exactly the same depth. I think I already sanded down a little bit on this one, so I should be pretty close to there already, and I'm good. So I'm going to orientate the grain when I go to cut these, but right now I just want to mark them and cut, and then I'm going to cut a little notch in it this way, and that'll give me my my little flat surface there. And this isn't an exact science or anything. Now I got to cut on this side of my mark. There's a little bit of cut in there, but that's going to happen. I'm just taking that little bitty bit off. these Japanese saws cut much faster. Cut this little stuff much faster. And I'm just not ready for it to come off yet. Twice it caught me by surprise. Not really by surprise, but faster than I thought. Stick her down in there. Make sure I got the right one in the right hole. And I did good. I'm just going to orientate them the way I would with the heartwood on the outside. And that will be that. There's a lot more ways, many more ways to perfect this. Get everything nice and perfectly straight and all that kind of jazz, but they're just dogs. They're going to change anyways. So let's go 1/2 inch up. I'm going to mark this as the left dog, and the other one will obviously be the right. So they're going to mark. One-half inch down. And do the same thing for this one. Yeah, what the object here is to cut this about 1/3 of the way back. So a little bit more than half. A little less than half. That's good. Oh, put that on the wrong side. Needs to be on this side. This one will do the same thing. to remark my 1/2 inch here. Basically what we're going to do is cut this one cross cut. It's going to be kind of weird. I want it straight up and down. I want it level. And I'm cross-cutting to a little bit more than 1/3. A little bit more and that'll be good. Do this guy. Looks good. So now we're going to take these, make sure that our lines are good. We're basically connecting these lines. So that you have a little Pac-Man looking. No, it's not. Doesn't look anything like Pac-Man. So that's what I'm going for. And I'll just stick this guy right in the middle. But I'm going to stick it where my saw is going to cut I really hope that lines up. I've never done it this way before, so see how it turns out. Alright. Might need a little bit of chiseling, but that's the idea. Cool. And I did it to where it goes just below the bench, or below the top of the vice chop. We'll just do the same thing again on this other guy. Go ahead and I don't know how much good this line really does, but Kind of gives me a reference, I guess. Now I'm doing it where the saw curve is straight up and down, so I'm tilting the dog in there just a hair. Thanks again, Aldo and Alex. Like that. Well, they're a little bit different. They're different heights too, because the holes are drilled different, but they're both with the grain, or the cut is against the grain, meaning they're going to be pressing like this, where the grain is situated this way and not that way. If they were that way, then it would flex more when you put the pressure on it than it is if you do it this way. That's why axe heads are hung this way. Well, this is my left one, this is my right one. Bam. Now we're just going to do the same thing to these guys. Just mark it. Well, you guys get the idea, and that's what I'm going to use temporarily until I can get a hold of a coat hanger, a metal coat hanger, and make these dogs the way they're supposed to be. But progress. We're making progress. That's always good. So watch out for the vise. Don't drill into your vise. When you lay out your dogs, it'd probably be good to go a little bit further away from, even though it may be off center, from your actual vise. If you want to move that one side of dog holes in a little bit further, or squeeze them all both together a little bit further, closer together, just to bring that dog hole away from the leg, so you can drill from both sides, and watch out for screws too. Pennies make a great layout tool for 3/4 inch holes, and yeah, I guess that's about it. Not a real sexy video, but we're making progress, right? This morning when I got up, of course I've been doing a lot of other things too, but this morning I did not have these 10 holes in my bench, and now I do. And now I have 2 dogs, and by the end of the night I'll have 4 dogs. And yeah, I'll be able to clamp work on here legit. So I'm stoked. Stoked, stoked, stoked. Who'd have thunk? I'm getting close. Closer every day. Friends and family, I love you. Everybody else, see you on the next video.